Damon here with NLP Gym. Do you compare yourself to others? Of course you do. We all do. It's actually part of what makes us human. I don't think that any other species of mammal or animal compares itself to other entities, or maybe they do. I don't know for certain, but I do know that it's something we all do. We do compare ourselves to others, and it's actually an important tool, but it can also go wrong. When comparing ourselves goes wrong is when we're judging our self-worth by others, and that's just not going to serve you in any way. When you're comparing yourself to others and you're thinking, okay, that person's better than me, and I want to be better, and I want to be of the same value, of the same worth, and you're using this to sort of motivate you. This can work in the short term. In the long term, it's going to run you down, because say you do get to achieve it, there's a sense that goes with it that you're never good enough, because there's always someone else who's better than you. So you continue this track of trying to better yourself because you're never good enough. And that's just not true. Your self-worth is really conceptual. It has nothing to do with the judgment or the comparison of other people. You're either a worthy person or no one is a worthy person. And I think we're all worthy people. And that's just a belief that I have. There's no way to prove that or disprove that. The other way that people might compare themselves is by putting other people down to sort of lift themselves up. Again, you may get some sort of short-term advantage out of this, or you might in the short term feel good about yourself for this, but it's a long-term, it's a terrible strategy long-term. Eventually what will happen is when you have no one to kick or no one to put down, what happens to your self-worth? It's gone. And then as soon as you enter a room or you enter the presence of people who you feel like are better than you, then suddenly you feel very small. Your self-worth again vanishes. So you're still caught in that trap of your self-worth and your value having to do with whoever's in the room, whoever's in your presence. And this will drive you crazy. I've tried to build up my self-worth in this sort of way, and it doesn't work. I know I've tried it endlessly. So what's a good way to compare yourself to others is if somebody has a skill, knowledge, an ability that you want, it's good to compare yourself only in the sense of that ability, skill, or knowledge. Not leave the self-worth part out of it. And you can put yourself around people who are very accomplished, who are very smart, very intelligent, who have some sort of understanding or knowledge or skill or access to resources that you want. And if you leave the self-worth part out of it and you put yourself around these people, or you surround yourself with people like that, more than likely you're going to ascend to their level. You're going to become better, or you're going to achieve that skill or whatever it is that you're looking to achieve, especially if you're leaving the self-worth part out of it, because the first thing you'll recognize is, okay, it's possible, because you're around people who are doing something that you're seeing it, so it makes it very real. You're also realizing they're just people too, and that they're not better. They're not they don't have more value than you do. They don't have any more self-worth than you do. So you're seeing that it's possible, and you're raising your own standards. So you naturally will ascend to their level. Modeling is what NLP is based on. That's how NLP got started, and that's basically what modeling is. It's looking at someone who has achieved some sort of excellence and modeling that. And you're not bringing anything to do with self-worth or your value. It has nothing to do with that. You're creating as much as possible, a content-free model that leaves everything else out about the person that does not have anything to do with the achievement or the excellence. It should be as clean as possible, leaving those things out. And it's just basically a model that you can try on and teach other people so that they can acquire that skill, get that understanding, get that knowledge, whatever it is you're trying to model. And then be careful too who you model or who you have as role models, and that you're only picking up the stuff that from them that is going to be useful to you and that will serve you. An example is Steve Gilligan, the world-renowned hypnotist and therapist. He spent a lot of time with Milton Erickson. Milton Erickson was the father of modern hypnosis. when Steve Gilligan met him, he was crippled from polio. And Steve Gilligan spent so much time with him that he started to take on some of these maladies, some of these physical disabilities. So you don't want to take those things on. Be careful the habits and whatever else that the person you're modeling or who you want to be like has. If they have any of those, if you see that you're picking up any of these other things that don't contribute to what it is you're trying to accomplish, make sure you become aware of it and leave that stuff out. Speaking of models, we have Doug O'Brien, who wrote the book Sleight of Mouth, The User's Guide. And this is based on the work of Robert Dilts, who modeled Richard Bandler and some historical figures like Gandhi on their persuasiveness and their influence. And he poured over their speeches, and then of course he spent a lot of time with Richard Bandler and was able to pull out these language patterns, 14 language patterns for persuasion and influence. And Doug O'Brien has spent a career teaching this to lawyers, therapists, coaches, salespeople, even politicians. And he'll be coming to Santa Cruz July 9th and 10th, and he'll be teaching these patterns, and then he'll be drilling them into you so much that on Monday morning, the following Monday morning, you'll be able to hit the ground running and be able to use these patterns right away. Go to our website, nlp-gym.com, to sign up for that workshop. It's a 2-day workshop here in Santa Cruz. And while you're there, check out the other workshops we have coming. We have Mark Andreas coming in September. He's the son of Steve and Connie Ray Andreas, and he'll be teaching core transformation. Also, follow us on Facebook, and if you're watching us on YouTube here, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and take care.